Euphoria glazed over the soft shell of exhaustion as Larry Jr. and Eric lounged on their double beds, not even thinking about what nasty lives their bedspreads had led. It was the first hotel room for either one of them, and the first time to spend the night in a room with someone else. It was exciting for sure, even if the hotel was nothing more than a thin-walled tourist holding tank with swimming trunks hanging on a balcony rail as the vagrant children had irritated Howard continued their wind sprints up and down the halls. Eric had just gotten a bucket of ice, which sat melting on the dresser next to the TV, because he figured that was what you were supposed to do. Larry Jr. was the titan of Tennessee auctioneering, but the shy, insecure boy inside was reduced to wondering if he should put on his Spider-Man jams and if Eric would make fun of them. "Did you bring toothpaste?" Eric asked. It was a hollow ask, as he had not packed a toothbrush. He was ill-prepared to spend the night away from home. All he had packed was a t-shirt, long-legged basketball shorts, and his prized possession, a bottle of cheap champagne he had procured through a proxy at a liquor store off Kingston Pike. It wasn't bought with the forethought of a possible state title celebration, but rather a way to get into Helen's room at some point in the late evening, get her tipsy, and see what fell out of the piñata. "Yeah, I have Aquafresh. That's my favorite because it's like 3 different colors. How do they do that? How do they keep the colors separated? Wouldn't they get all mixed up?" Larry was a kid still, sure, but was flush with a winter's high that might keep him wide awake till dawn, something that Eric was already trying to plan around. He couldn't pull a bottle of bubbly out of his duffel bag and walk out of the room while Larry was watching a made-for-TV movie, debating if he had the courage to order room service at 2 a.m. Eric needed Larry out of commission, dreaming of playful piggies or being sent on a grumpy donkey to Howard Jameson, received at a temple in the mountains to ascertain the ways of a true master. He also did not trust Mr. Spangler farther than he could throw him, which on a good day would only be a few feet. The old bastard outweighed him by about 40 pounds of sawdust burgers and cheap beer. He could see that slime ball making a run at Helen, out of town, Marvin seducing an underage student while his family back home none the wiser. A slew of mind games and guilt trips to keep Helen quiet and submissive to every perverted act a middle-aged man would need to sate his seizing libido. Eric got up to look through the peephole, checking to see if there was any movement on the front lines. He could just make out Helen's door if he angled his eye right. Timing was everything, and that night it was never more true. Larry Jr. had conquered his trial, beheaded the Medusa. It was Eric's turn to make it happen, Captain. Howard eventually talked himself into making the trek back to the hotel, weaving through well-lit parking lots, bumping a minivan or a station wagon here and there, but not enough to set off an alarm.